What's going on, guys? This is the first hostile Q&A I'm doing. I thought I would log on and start answering some questions for you guys weekly. Try and get these done weekly, maybe bi-weekly. We're going to see how it goes, but I have some good questions here, so I'm going to go over them with you and see if I can be of any benefit to you guys in your quest for getting fucking huge. But so let's get into it. I got some questions here in the Q&A. And first, before we start, I just want to show you guys, I got the cast off or the brace off, and I got full motion of my arm now. So the tricep is healing. I don't have any pain. It's just a matter now of starting rehab, I think, next week, and then I can start to build that strength back and get back to working out normally. So that's the update on the tricep. Things are healing really well. I'm going for an ultrasound actually tomorrow to find out exactly how the healing is going. But like I said, next week I think we'll start the rehab process and do some isometric movements and start to try and build that strength back. But anyways, so that's the update on that. Nothing else is really too interesting in my training right now. I'm trying just to maintain before getting back up to speed with my arm. So let's get into your Q&As. The first one is from Be Real Swan. What have you found to help bring up the quads the most? Just heavy squats or something else? Now, my personal opinion on legs is I like to train legs twice a week. Now, I believe if you're training quads the way you should be, with the intensity you should be, you're probably going to be too sore to train quads twice a week with like 2 heavy quad days. So my split goes like this. Earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday, I will train quads and hams. Now that quad and ham is going to be a quad dominant workout. So it's probably going to be 3 to 4 quad exercises, all out to failure, just going balls to the wall with it. There's probably going to be 1 to 2 hamstring movements in that workout. So I'll probably start with hamstrings, like a lying leg curl. That gets my knees warmed up anyways. And then I may finish with a hamstring exercise at the end, depending on how the quad workout went. Usually after 3 or 4 quad exercises, I'm taxed, and that's the end of my leg day. And then later in the week, say Thursday or Friday, I will do another leg day, but that one will be hamstring dominant. So it'll be the same thing in reverse. It'll be 3 to 4 hamstring exercises, 1 to 2 quad exercises. So on that day, I may throw in some leg extensions with occlusion bands at the end of the workout, just to get a lot of blood flowing in the quad, get a really, really good pump. And I may actually do some squats on that day, but I won't do heavy squats to failure. What I may do on that day, if I just want to feel the weight on my quads, but I don't want to tax them fully, is I'll do box squats, for example, kind of heavy. 3 plates maybe for me is a good weight. It's about 75%. I'll use 3 plates for sets of 6, and I'll be more explosive in my concentric movements. So slow on the way down, sit on the box, keep your tension, but you're sitting on the box, and then explode up. And this is something I learned from John Meadows. Just that explosive movement will really tax the muscle enough to get a really, really good pump and keep them full throughout the rest of the week until you're going to hit quads again the next week. But on the hamstring side of things on that day, like I said, I'm going to do 3 or 4 exercises. It's going to be balls to the wall, going to failure, really trying to tax the hamstrings as much as possible. Now that split, that setup, I noticed has given me the best leg development throughout my career. Now, as far as specific exercises, I'm always going to leg press and I'm always going to squat on the quad side of things. Those are 2. And even if you're talking about squats, you're talking about hamstrings too, because the squat is an overall leg developer if you do it properly. If you're going ass to grass, ass all the way to your calves or your heels, you are going to develop your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your adductors, your sartorius, all of the muscles on the inner quad, on the inner side of your leg, which really gives you that thick, hard work look appearance. That's from going ass to grass. And I believe the squat is probably the best exercise for leg thickness and leg mass. If you look at anybody, I know you can say, well, Dorian Yates didn't squat, this and that, whatever, but Dorian Yates wasn't really known for his legs. If you look at the people that are known for their legs, look at Tom Platz, look at Ben Pekulski, look at Branch Warren, look at Eric Fankhauser, look at Paul DeMeo, if you look at Ronnie Coleman, look at these guys with massive, massive quads. They're known for squatting, and they squat heavyweight, and they squat it for reps. They're not doing 1 rep. They're not doing 2 reps. Building big quads, aside from the squat, if you want to move on with the topic a little bit, building big quads is high volume, heavyweight. People always say, well, if I'm doing high volume, I can't do heavyweight. I'm going to go high volume, lightweight, or low volume, heavyweight. And like, no, that's not how it works. That's why leg day is such a motherfucker. Leg day is a motherfucker because it's high volume, but it's heavyweight. You need those 2 parts of the equation if you're really going to build big quads. So when I'm talking heavyweight, I mean, I may do 20 rep sets on a leg press, but I still have 12, 13, 14 plates on the rack. So when I get to 20, I'm dead at 20. Like, I'm probably going to get to 15, and I'm probably going to grind out 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's what training legs hard means. Okay. So that's your quad day. On your hamstring day, I'm always going to have a leg curl or a seated curl. Seated curl especially. I've grown to really love seated curls. Leg curls, same thing. Some days I just get in a groove with a leg curl, and I'll do like 6, 7, 8 sets with a leg curl. I believe heavy leg curls with a strong negative or a controlled negative is really going to help build your hamstrings. So really explosive on the concentric, and a really controlled, it doesn't have to be slow, but it has to be controlled negative. I believe that builds hamstrings more than anything. Also, keeping your feet together. A lot of times people keep their feet apart on a lying leg curl or a seated leg curl, and that's going to build some hip and some glute. Now, if you put your feet together, if you put your legs together on a lying leg curl, you will feel the difference, because now you're not only going to feel the outer biceps, the outer heads of the hamstring working. Now you're going to get that inner head on the inside. So when you're doing a back double bicep and you put that leg back, you're going to see that added muscle on the inside of the hamstring. So try it with your feet together. Now, the other thing, one of the best mass builders that I really can't do anymore after tearing my hamstring, but one of the best mass builders in my arsenal was always a stiff leg deadlift. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion, if you're doing a barbell, dumbbell, whatever stiff leg deadlift you can figure out, like on a T-bar platform. But if you can do it heavy, you have to be careful. You have to be warmed up. This is like it's like a bench press. I mean, a lot of people this causes a lot of injuries for a lot of people, but if you're warmed up, if your nutrition is good, everything's good, you should be fine. You know, you see people like Luke Sandow and Jordan Peters. These guys are stiff leg deadlifting like 5 plates. This is what's going to build really thick hamstrings. So those are some staples for my leg workouts, and those are the things I believe will build your legs the best and the fastest. So we'll get into a couple other questions. So Isa the Iceman says, so for the relationship conversation, how did you and your wife meet? Is she into training? And if not, do you guys share other similarities? The relationship question is a important one, because my personal belief is without a strong support system, you cannot be a bodybuilder. It is a very selfish sport. It is a very independent sport, but at the same time as being independent in a sense that you're the only one on stage, you need a strong support system, especially in the case of a spouse, because to be a great bodybuilder, you're not going to be out partying every night or every weekend. To be a great bodybuilder, you're probably going to be home a lot. Personally, I'm a homebody, so I don't mind that. But if you don't mind being a homebody, then that's cool. You're going to be a good bodybuilder. But if you're going to be a homebody, then you probably need somebody there with you to hang out with. So having a strong support system like a wife, girlfriend, whatever, to hang out with you and help you pass the time and watch movies together and all this kind of shit, help you cook your meals, help you do your laundry. I mean, my wife doesn't do a lot of the stuff. I do most of it myself, but just somebody to be there to make you feel like you're not alone, somebody to be at the shows with you, somebody to tell you when you're doing dumb shit, somebody to tell you when you're doing good. I think these things are really helpful, and it's really important to have that support system. I know a lot of people have fallen off because they didn't have that support system. And I know a lot of people have gone a lot further than they should have because they had a strong person behind them, really pushing them along the way and really helping them believe in themselves. So it is a very important thing. I value what my wife brings to the table because we share a lot of similarities in the sense that she knows the sport inside and out. And I did a podcast about this recently, so I won't go too far into it. If you guys want to check out that podcast, I talk about it for like 25 minutes, but this is the important thing to me. I feel like there's 3 types of people, and you have to find out which one you are. Certain people want a spouse that is exactly like them. They want somebody to train with, to eat with, to go to the gym with, to compete at shows with. They want the mirror image. We're going to do all this shit together. And that's totally cool. For me, that didn't work out. It felt like it was I'm a really selfish fucking person. And I had trouble sharing. Like, that gym time is my time. I don't want to share my time. I don't want to go to your gym. I want to go to my gym. I want to do my workout. It's my profession. It's my career. I need the person that I'm with to understand that this is my dream. It's not just a hobby. This is like something where I'm going as far as I can go with it, and I need you to support me. So it really depends on what your goals are and what kind of person you are. When I met my wife, that I'm the second type of person, which is my wife knows everything about the sport. She's been involved in the sport in the background, either in writing for magazines or supplement companies or whatever, but she's not a competitor. She did a couple shows way back, but she's not a competitor. So I don't have to share my gym time with her. I don't have to share my prep time with her. I don't have to worry about her competing at a show while I'm trying to compete at a show. But at the same time, we can talk about who won the last show and how good they looked and all that. And my wife gets it. So that's important to me, that I can say, hey, did you see Juan Morel? He looked fucking crazy this year. Did you see Luke Sandow? He fucking took second at the Arnold's, blah, 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 or third, whatever. Those things are important to me because I need somebody that's going to share in the passion for the sport, even if they're not necessarily involved. Now, the third type of person is the kind of person who is like, my wife hates bodybuilding, or my wife or boyfriend, whoever you are, girlfriend, husband, whatever. My spouse hates bodybuilding. They want nothing to do with it, but I'm good with that because it's fully my time. The third one, I don't see work out as much because I feel like those people eventually start to resent the person that's competing because they want to get on with their life. Okay, can we travel? Hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that? I want to go for a drink. I want to do this. And if you're a bodybuilder and you want it to be your career, things don't really change. You don't really, I'm not going to go on a 1-month excursion to Europe right now because I don't want to. This is my job. I enjoy my job. I want to be here. I want to compete. I want to train. I don't want to go fuck off for a month and forget about what I'm doing. So the third type of person is one that I don't see work out as much, because if the person hates bodybuilding or is not involved in it at all, knows nothing about it, doesn't understand it, those relationships don't seem to work out as much, unless the person that's doing the bodybuilding is not fully invested, like they can walk away at any time. Then in that case, it's not a big deal. But if you're fully invested and you're like, I want this to be my life, my advice is to find somebody who at least shares in the passion of the sport from the outside in, or they do it themselves, because that's somebody who's going to understand what you want from it and understand the struggles that come with the sport. So we'll get into another question here with C Team Captain says, what's your rest recovery days like as far as rehab, diet, anything else you find beneficial to recharge and get back at it the next day? This is a tricky one because I feel like active recovery is the best recovery. I don't know if I really believe in just sitting on your ass and like sleeping. Some days your body, like there is probably once a week once a week where my body just wants to do nothing, just want to sit on the couch or sleep more that day, and or just get some good calories in and watch TV, relax, do some things that are not necessarily bodybuilding centric, visit family, go out for lunch with the wife, something like that. There are those days, but usually my week is split up into 5 hard training days and 2 days off. Now, there's probably one day off where I don't do anything, and one of the days off is an active off. So I still will go to the gym and do cardio in the morning, or I will do some extra stretching at home, or I may go in for a really light workout. Like if I have a body part that's lagging that I feel like could use a second day, but not a full day, I may go in and just do some like 10 to 15s, nothing crazy, a little less volume, maybe just 6 to 9 sets just to get in there. I'll do some stretching while I'm at the gym, maybe do some abs, do some forearms, some stuff like that, just kind of like extras. Because I really feel like going to the gym and training, as long as you're not taxing your central nervous system or overloading a muscle all the time, going to the gym is just doing some light stuff, get some blood flowing, get things moving around in your body. I really feel that can help with recovery. So I don't know. I'm not going to lie and say like I'm this yoga person. I always think yoga is a good idea, but I haven't done it. I think going to the gym is doing some extras and extra stretching and doing some light body parts here and there, some abs, things like that. That's my active rest day. And then I have a full rest day where it's not just for the body, it's also for the mind. I think it's good to recharge. You know what I mean? Because we take for granted our family and friends when we're training. We're in such a self-centered sport that we forget all these things. So I think one day a week, it's good to, visit that friend that you haven't seen in a while, or go for lunch with that person, or make sure you go see your family. Like I always go to a family dinner once a week. Every Sunday I have family dinner. I try and visit my family and see how they're doing and check in. And I feel like that one day a week is really important for mental recharge as well as physical. On to the next one. Wow, this is a interesting question. So Aaron for Real Fit writes, how willing are you to put your health in jeopardy to be the best bodybuilder you can be? Would you be willing to end your life 10 to 20 years earlier if it meant you would be Mr. Olympia? It's a tough question. I have to say yes. I have to. And I know a lot of you think it's stupid, but I have to. And the reason I have to is I have already made that choice. And I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, steroids. Yeah, you took steroids. You're going to die young. That's not the case. This is the case. Right now, I weigh 280 pounds. Most of the off season, when I'm pushing real hard, I'm in the 290 to 300 pound weight area. The extra supplements we use are not the problem. I mean, they're part of the problem, toxicity in your blood, things like that. I'm not going to blood pressure issues. I'm not going to pretend that that's not an issue. But the indirect symptom of those supplements is the issue, which is the mass. Carrying around 300 pounds, well, I'm not 300 pounds of muscle, but let's say my stage weight or my lean body mass is 250 pounds of muscle. Carrying around 250 to 260 pounds of muscle all year round is the problem. That will raise your blood pressure. Feeding that with all the protein, it's going to have all the high blood pressure is going to have effect on your kidneys. The toxicity levels from the things you're using are going to have an effect on your liver. Your heart having to pump blood to all that muscle all the time, every day, all year round my off seasons, I've been around 300 pounds for 10 years now. That is the problem. It's having the size that your body is required to fuel and keep alive on a daily basis. I don't believe that the human body is meant to carry around this kind of weight all the time, every day, year in, year out, for a long extended period of time. So I have already made that choice. I have already kind of put myself in a position where I may have taken 5 years off my life. I may have taken 10 years off my life. But I also get regular blood work done. I also feel like there is a healthy way out of this. I also feel like the body can rejuvenate itself in certain ways. So when my career is done, I can, you see a lot of bodybuilders when they're done their careers, they lose 50 pounds. And it's not because they can't maintain 300 pounds. When I retire, I will be 220 pounds. And that's for health reasons. I want my body to recover. I want my body to be rejuvenated. I want to maybe try and catch up and get those 10 years back. So do we make that trade? Do we take that risk? Yes. Do we try to minimize the risk by taking a lot of natural anti-inflammatories, taking a lot of fish oils, getting a lot of blood work done, trying to maintain healthy blood pressure, getting my heart checked? I've had my heart checked every year for the last 3 years now. We try and minimize the risks with this by countering it with these extra things. Now, whether we're playing, a game of chicken, a lot of people would say we are. A lot of people would say, as long as you're doing it the right way, you can recover from it. So my personal opinion is I have taken the risk. I love what I do. I love bodybuilding. It's not for the money. I mean, the money is, it's a career. I have to make money. But there are other ways to make money. So this isn't, I'm not doing this for the money. I could have picked a different job. But this is, it's a choice we made. So now we have to live with that choice and make the best of it. On to the next one. Wow, this is interesting. Philip Ferreira 7 says, if you could be a professional in any other sport other than bodybuilding, what would it be and why? So I played football in high school. I love football. I would have definitely loved to be a pro football player, but I'm not tall enough or fast enough or athletic enough or any of those enoughs. I was pretty good in high school, but that's high school and everybody's pretty good in high school. So that doesn't mean shit. The other thing is probably UFC. I would have loved to have trained harder as a teenager if UFC and mixed martial arts was around. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy. Nobody write me bullshit in the comments. I'm not trying to say like I can kick everybody's ass. I just really enjoy learning about the sport. And when I'm done bodybuilding, that will probably be something I do for fun, not to actually fight, but I will probably do some type of MMA training like jiu-jitsu or something along those lines, because I find it fascinating. I'm just too big. At 280 pounds, it's going to be very hard to do that type of training because of injury and because of my gas tank. I mean, who's going to be able to, I can't roll with anybody for more than 30 seconds without gassing out at this point. So those are the two sports I think I am intrigued by the most, more so MMA, I think, than football. But yeah, when I'm done bodybuilding, that will probably be something I do to fill the void of this side of competition. I might enter that side of friendly competition, not actually competing in like tournaments and shit, but just being in those classes and rolling with guys that are better than me will fill that competitive void, I think, for me. On to the next question. Ontario Muscle asks, at what point in your career were you the closest to hanging it up? Why and what turned you around? Ontario Muscle, I will tell you that for the last 10 years, every time I compete, I'm ready to hang it up. I can't tell you why. I love what I do. I will never retire until I have to, which is not necessarily a good thing. But for some reason, when I get in that 3-4 week out mark where I'm suffering my fucking ass off, I always look at my wife and I'm like, what am I fucking doing? I could be selling real estate. I could be selling cars. I could have joined the police force like I wanted to when I got out of school. I could be doing fucking anything. Why am I putting myself through this hell? The only answer is I love it. I don't know why, but I just keep going. And then I do the show and I get done the show and I'm like, and I have every intention to retire. I actually sat my family down after one show. I remember this like 5 years ago. I sat my family down after one show and I was like, everybody, and everybody was sitting around the table. I'm like, everybody, I'm officially retiring. That's it. This was 5 years ago. I still have not retired. So I don't think I'm going to retire anytime soon. I think the closest I ever came to really retiring was probably after my first major tear, which was my teres on my right side. It was the first one that kind of put me out of commission. It was the first one that changed the shape of my physique. And it was the first one that really hurt. Like, it fucking hurt. And I had to get a bunch of PRP shots and I had to take a lot of time for it to heal before I could really get back to lifting weights the way I wanted to. I want to say I think all the tears have taken their toll on me, and it's hard to fight back from them. But when you love something, man, it doesn't matter. People can try and hold you back. Injuries can hold you back. Money can fucking hold you back. You're going to find a way to do it. And that's why when people say to me, oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, that's when I know they don't really give a shit, because I have had no money. I have had no time. I have been through injuries. I have been through losses. I have been through breakups. I have been through my father dying. Everybody has been through some shit. But I keep going, and I'm not a special person. So if I can fucking keep going, that means if you don't keep going, that means because you didn't really want to. So if someone says, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, it's not a priority to them, and it's bullshit. If they really want to do it, it's there for them to do. Nothing will stop you. Nothing. I'm convinced after going through the shit I've gone through that if you really want to do something, nothing will stand in your way. That's that one. We'll do a few more here. I don't know how much time we're at here, but we'll do a few more. So Jinsane222 says, before your major sponsorship from Muscle Tech and publication sponsorships, how did you make ends meet financially? If you could go back and prioritize those needs, how would you change them? So I've had a bunch of jobs. I think I counted like 16 jobs before bodybuilding. And I think it's because I'm a horrible employee and I fucking hated every job I ever had because all I wanted to do was be in the gym. So I worked at a pizzeria for a couple of years. I managed that place. I worked for my brother and I did customer service and sales for the big three and selling work gloves and things like that. I worked at a couple strip clubs. I was a manager at one of them. I was a bouncer at another. I worked at a few bars as a bouncer. I worked at a couple factories. Those were pretty short-lived. I have to say this. Every job I worked at had to be bodybuilding friendly. If my boss ever said to me, you can't eat, you don't have time to eat, you don't get a break to eat, I'd probably quit. I'll give you an example. I got a job at a factory once. I was like 22. I think I was making like $30 an hour, which was good money back then. I don't know. I mean, for some people it's good money anyway, but it was a lot of money as a 22-year-old anyway. And the thing is, I had to work a midnight shift. And I noticed after 2 or 3 weeks, my eating kind of sucked and my training wasn't as good. And like my just appetite had gone down. I was feeling more lethargic. And I realized I can't sleep during the day. I can't work midnights and then come home and sleep all day and then have a productive, like my training was just suffering horribly. I worked there for like 3 or 4 weeks and I quit. I said, I got to quit. They're like, why? You don't like the job? And I said, no, it's affecting my bodybuilding career. And they were like, career? You don't make a fucking dollar doing that shit. What do you care? They didn't know I had plans to make $1 eventually bodybuilding. So they didn't get it, but I did. So I had to leave. I quit. So every job I ever had, whether it be bouncing, which is perfect for bodybuilding because you could just stop and eat whenever you wanted to, or managing was perfect also because if you manage a strip club or a regular club or managing the pizzeria. I mean, whatever it was, I could stop, I could go to the office and have my meal and do this or that. Money was tight. It was tough at times. Obviously, I wasn't buying steaks every night. I was eating a lot of fucking tuna and ground beef and a lot of rice and potatoes. But look, man, bodybuilding food's not that fucking expensive unless you want to buy the best of the best. Obviously, if you're going to get your chicken breast from Costco, or you're going to get this, the organic chicken breast from Whole Foods, you're fucked. If you're on a budget, you're fucked. You're not going to be able to survive. But if you're going to go to, a lower end grocery store, even if you go to Costco and you just buy the ground beef and the tuna and a big huge bag of fucking rice, a big huge bag of fucking oatmeal, you can get by. You don't need that much money. And I didn't go out that much. So everything in my life was about bodybuilding. It wasn't about buying fucking shoes. It wasn't about buying clothes. It wasn't about buying cars. I just wanted to be the best bodybuilder I could. So every dollar I had went to food, and supplements, and tanning, and my gym membership, and that was it. So I got by. And I lived at home for a long time. I moved out when I was 21. But I lived with my girlfriend at the time, so we shared the rent, and then I had some roommates. We shared the rent, and I always just made it work. I always found a way to make it work. And that goes back to my last point. You can always find a way to make it work if it's something you really want to do. You know what I mean? So that's that. So I'll answer one more. Let me skip down here. Let's see here. Max Merrick asks, if you can go back to your younger self, what advice would you give him to progress faster than he did? It could be nutrition advice, training, or supplement advice. Okay, so if I had to go back to, I don't have any advice for that kid. I'm not saying I was perfect. This is the thing. So a lot of people are like, do you think you could have done more to be a better bodybuilder? Maybe I could have not had those extra cheat meals. Maybe I could have planned out my meals 10% better or something, or I don't think I could have trained any harder. Maybe I could have had less drinking nights in my early 20s and mid 20s. I had some, I drank quite a bit when I was younger. Maybe I could have limited those, but I don't think I would change anything. I feel like I lived a pretty balanced life. I got to go out with my friends when I wanted to. I focused on bodybuilding very hard. Maybe I could have been 10% better. I kind of had everything I wanted the way I wanted. So I don't really have any advice for that kid. Now, if I wanted to say something that you didn't mention, the only advice I have for young Fouad coming up is don't ever pass on any shit that comes your way. And I made that mistake by passing on some guest appearances, by passing on opportunities. A couple come to mind. And I mentioned these in my podcast. Like once I skipped a guest posing that I shouldn't have skipped. It was for a judge down south, and it was all over like a few $100. And I don't know if I paid the price for that. Maybe it hurt some of my placings. Maybe it just hurt my standing in the IFBB. Maybe it hurt my standing networking wise. Maybe he didn't pass around my name as much to other promoters because maybe it was too much of a stickler for the final dollar. Jay Cutler asked me to come out and train with him when I was on my way up, and he was still Mr. Olympia at the time, and I passed on it. I said, no, it wasn't because I thought it was better or anything. It was because I was kind of scared and shy, and I was like, I don't want to go. I'm just going to be in the guy's way, blah, blah, blah. It's weird. I don't want to. I'm just going to stay home. So if I had any advice at all for up and coming Fouad, it would be to not pass on anything. Don't be scared of anything. Don't be a stickler for every fucking dollar. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit of money here and there to network and make friends and make relationships, because those actually are going to help you build more money in the long run. Now, if you want to talk about, if you guys want advice for bodybuilding itself, the biggest thing I could have done is this. I probably would have eliminated the drinking in my early 20s. I think I probably did too much of that. Not a lot. I don't want to make it sound like it was like some crazy thing, but I could have eliminated that a little bit. And I think I could have focused on my diet a little more. I had some days where, you know, I didn't eat as much as I should have, or days where I ate too much shit and I got too fat that off season. Those are probably things. I mean, look, everybody can always be better. I think I did a pretty good job coming up, so I don't really have any advice for myself on the nutrition side of things. I think the main thing I did was I got a coach when I was very young. And when I started, I had a coach. And ever since, I've had a coach. And I have no fucking qualms about it. I think it's important. I think we're the only sport on earth where you're laughed at if you have a coach. Like, people are like, oh, why do you need a coach? You're fucking this and that. Even some of the greats, you know, you listen to like Sean Ray and some of these people, and they're like, oh, we didn't have coaches. Okay, so what? Sports progress. And if I can start at 20 years old and have a coach show me the way, instead of having to mess up 3 or 4 years of my career with trial and error, why wouldn't I? It's the height of arrogance, in my opinion, to think that you know everything about yourself. This whole line that like, I know my body, it's bullshit. Okay. There are coaches for a reason, and they have trained hundreds of clients. And if you have an issue, they can get you through, especially if you're starting out, they can get you through the first crucial years of your bodybuilding career with advice. So I think that's why I have no regrets, because I always had a coach, and I always had somebody saying, you know, eat this much, do this much, train this hard. And I progressed pretty fast. Like, I won my first nationals 4 years after I started bodybuilding. Started bodybuilding at 20. I won my first nationals at 24. I won the class 3 times before I finally got my pro card at 27. But yeah, I think the advice I would give to young Fouad is more on the business side of bodybuilding, which was, don't pass on opportunities. Don't pass on people offering you things or giving you opportunities to do things, because if you pass on enough opportunities, those things don't come back to you. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I think we're half an hour in here. I will try and answer some of these other questions on a different episode of the Hostile Q&A. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep doing this. If your question wasn't answered, I apologize. Please just keep putting them in on Instagram, and I will keep trying to cycle through them each week. I'm sorry I can't get to all of them. This video would be like 3 hours long if I answered all these questions. So just keep putting in your questions, and I will try and just kind of pick through, and hopefully your question will get answered. So thanks a lot, guys, for the questions on Instagram. I hope you got some value out of the Q&A. And if you haven't checked out my Real Bodybuilding podcast yet, I have about 7 episodes done, and I'm shooting a bunch this week with new guests. It is on my YouTube page. It is on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. It's on all the different platforms. So please subscribe to that and check it out. And I'm sure you'll like it. It's not a regular interview thing. It's more like me and the guests, or me, myself. When I'm with a guest, we're just having a conversation. Okay. It's not like X's and O's. I want you guys to get a feel for who these people are outside of bodybuilding, kind of what their thoughts are about bodybuilding, but not necessarily the X's and O's of bodybuilding. And when I do it myself, I try and do the same thing. I try and bring it underneath. I try and bring it deeper than just how many carbs do I eat, how much protein do I eat. I try and bring it deeper to what's behind the scenes of bodybuilding, and what are the feelings and some of the things that bodybuilders go through. So if you guys get a chance, check it out. Leave your comments, subscribe if you like it. And I always appreciate feedback as well. So don't be scared to leave a comment and let me know if you want me to do something better, or you love it just the way it is. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until next time, sacrifice without regret.